Former Massachusetts Governor and Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney is officially running for the Senate in Utah.
I have decided to run for United States Senate because I believe I can help bring Utah's values and Utah's lessons to Washington. Utah is a better model for Washington than Washington is for Utah.
Romney, who has been critical of President Trump over the past year, is running for longtime Senator Orrin Hatch's seat. Hatch is retiring this year. Earlier this week, the head of Utah's Republican Party chairman criticized Romney for not having enough ties to the state. Romney moved to Utah after losing the 2012 election. For more now, I want to bring in Matt Canham. He's the senior managing editor for the Salt Lake Tribune. Matt, listen, can you give us a sense of just how the people of Utah are reacting to Romney's announcement?
People in the state of Utah have loved Mitt Romney for years and years, so I would assume that the majority think this is a right step. Now, Mitt Romney has given us an indication that he's going to do this for quite a while, so that today is not a surprise in any way. But Mitt Romney not only was involved in the 2002 Olympics, he moved back to the state of Utah about 5 years ago. People see him grocery shopping. They see him as one of our own. And our poll in the Salt Lake Tribune has indicated that he is incredibly popular here.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at the Salt Lake Tribune and the University of Utah poll that found that if he was running for the election today, he grabbed 64% of the vote compared to the Democrat Jenny Wilson. That's pretty significant.
It is significant, and we actually had state lawmakers wonder why he was so low at 64%.
Really?
Think about that. I mean, that's a 40% margin. Mitt Romney is a behemoth in this state politically. He has been someone that everyone coveted that endorsement from, and now he's going to be reaching out to all those people that he's built goodwill with over the years and asking for their help in this campaign.
So Wilson is pushing back, though. Recently tweeted, "I can deliver for Utah families in the U.S. Senate." Mitt Romney represents a voice for special interests and extreme wealth. And it is true, like you mentioned, he moved back to the state just 5 years ago, and he's a pretty wealthy guy. How do you think this race is going to shape up moving forward?
I think Jenny Wilson, as the Democrat, is using what she can to attack Mitt Romney. But Utah is a very conservative state. He has a campaign organization, a developed ability to raise money, and it's a tight window. So I don't think another Republican has a very good chance of challenging him. Once he gets that nomination, I think this is going to be very smooth sailing. A Democrat in the state of Utah has not competed well on the state level in decades.
So, but here's the really interesting factor about him entering the race here. President Trump overwhelmingly won Utah. It was 45% of the vote, right, in the 2016 election. And he has been perhaps one of the most vocal critics of the president. He doesn't mince words, and you can tell that he's really getting under the president's skin. You know, what sort of impact do you think that's going to have on his chances of winning? Or is he sort of the golden boy in Utah?
Now, I do think that will be the race, or be the issue of this race, like it's the issue of the races all through the country. How do people respond to this president? Mitt Romney, as you said, has called the president a fraud and a phony. He's worried that the president has, and his actions have led to trickle-down racism in our country. He's been very bold in his statements against this president. But I would guess that in this campaign, he won't talk a lot about the president. He'll try to talk a lot about Utah. He'll try to convince people that he's going to represent this state. Now, why is Mitt Romney entering this race? I believe that he thinks that there is a gap in the Senate for people to really challenge this president. You see John McCain's health waning. You see people like Jeff Flake and Bob Corker retiring. There's an opening for a conservative to be that foil to the president. So Mitt Romney might eventually play that role, but I think here in the state, he'll probably not try to talk about it too much. One thing that did happen recently is the Utah Republican Party chairman, his name's Rob Anderson, did criticize Mitt Romney, saying that he did not support our president, saying that he is similar to Hillary Clinton in that he is running in a state where he is a newcomer, that he doesn't shop here or live here because he has houses elsewhere. So he's actually gotten some criticism from within his own party.
Now, I know the state that President Trump got 45% of the votes during the election, but that was during the election. You know, we've seen his support sort of slip over the past year. Do you know what it's like in Utah now, how they feel about President Trump?
So his support in Utah has hovered around 50% since he's been in office and hasn't changed much. Utah is a very Republican state. They agree with what he's trying to do on issues like taxes, but Utah has long had a problem with the way that Donald Trump communicates and interacts with people. They think he's uncouth and rude. And we actually saw Mitt Romney reference that, or I believe possibly reference that in his video today. He said that people in Utah treat each other with respect. And he might have been talking about Congress, but I think it's also equally likely that he was talking about our president.
Well, you know, the politics watcher in me is actually really looking forward to how this shapes up. Mitt Romney, like you said, has been a really outspoken critic, and the president has not wasted time sort of shooting back and criticizing him. It's bound to give you guys a lot to write about.
Yes, it will. We're looking forward to it.
Matt Canham, thank you so much.
Thank you.